Alvina Ali, and I will be joined by my panel made up of two loose sisters and one loose brother, where we will be talking all things news, views, gossip, and obviously putting prominent people from Wolves in the spotlight. Now, on today's programme, we will be discussing Macmillan, COVID-19 vaccinations, the rollout, and also COVID-19 community champions, and a feature on In Other News as well. So if you would like to take part in the discussion, feel free to ring in on 01902 or ring in on 01902 972 150 or text in on 07440 420 432. So settle back and settle in for more of Loose Sisters. Now, joining me on the panel today is Loose Sister Iram Iqbal and obviously Pav Main, who is our guest. So, Loose Sisters, first of all, please introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about yourselves.
My name is Iram Iqbal, and I'm one of the volunteers who's been working with Secret Angels, and this is an organization which we've set up to bring about a difference in lives of people in Wolverhampton, and that's what I'm representing here today.
Okay, and Pav?
Hi, my name is Pavitra Main. I work for Macmillan Cancer Support as an engagement lead, supporting cancer patients as best as we can.
Mm-hmm. And I have a loose brother in the studio. Introduce yourself.
I'm Amjad Shah, and I'm self-employed, and I'm a volunteer with Secret Angels as well, to empower the communities of Wolverhampton.
Okay, right. Okay, now just a very quick one. We're going to touch on Macmillan. Now, obviously, finding out that someone you know has cancer can be difficult. Now, I should know, as my sister was diagnosed with cancer 2 years ago, and it was actually on my daughter's birthday, which I can never forget. Now, you may have many questions about cancer itself and about how you should talk to and act around this person. Now, if you're very close to the person with cancer, this can be a frightening and stressful time for you too. Now, as any person with cancer knows, a cancer diagnosis also affects family members and friends as well. Sometimes the complex feelings and lifestyle changes caused by cancer and its treatment become as overwhelming for others in your life as they are for you as well. Now, Macmillan Cancer Support is one of the largest British charities and provides specialist healthcare, information and financial support to people affected by cancer. Now, it also looks at the social, emotional and practical impacts that cancer can have, and it campaigns for better cancer care as well. Now, Macmillan Cancer Support's goal is to reach and improve the lives of everyone who has cancer in the UK. So joining me in the studio is Pav Main for Macmillan. So if you've got any questions that you like to throw in the conversation in any part of the discussion, please feel free to do so. You can ring in on 01902 972 150 or text in on 07440 420 432. Pav, can you tell us, first of all, how was Macmillan established and how long has Macmillan been going on for?
Macmillan was established in 1911. It was called Society for the Prevention and Relief of Cancer by Douglas Macmillan, whose father died of cancer in 1911. And he had just been given £10 to start the charity with.
Wow.
Imagine that. So it's, Douglas Macmillan died in 1969, again, having cancer. And the name for the prevention of and relief of cancer was changed. Name was changed in 1996 to Cancer Relief.
Okay.
Macmillan Cancer Relief. And then again changed in 2006 to Macmillan Cancer Support.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, Macmillan has been going for 110 years.
Wow.
So we'll be marking the celebration when we're doing the coffee morning, cakes and whatever, when people do lots and lots of challenges for Macmillan and fundraise.
Okay.
And we're marking that birthday special.
All right. Okay. So can you tell us how Macmillan is actually funded as well then, please?
Macmillan is solely funded by the wonderful people who do marathon runs for us, shave their hair, hold coffee morning in their living rooms, and climb the mountains. So solely funded by the fundraisers who are so generous. The community out there is so generous to give money, and also the organisations like the organisations who want to fund us, they fundraise for us as well. So it's solely funded. There's no grant funding from government or anybody else.
So what are the most common events that people get themselves involved in to do the fundraising?
It's usually the coffee morning. It's in September, October. I'm saying September, October. The first year when it was launched in 2014, the biggest coffee morning raised 25 million in just the first year. So there's a lot of people get involved. People do obviously hikes as well. That can be done any time of the year. There's a London Marathon. People join that. There's usually local fundraising marathons as well, and people do 5Ks. It's like since last year we've had the restriction that you can't go and do running and all that. People have been running around the garden or going up the steps and just making that the 25K up.
Okay.
To raise money. And a lot of people have been having their own hairs shaved at home, doing the videos and promoting it that way and raising money. So there's all different ways. And there's people do fashion shows and all sorts.
Yeah.
There's cancer support groups who hold special coffee mornings just to raise funds.
Oh, right. Okay. So how does Macmillan actually support its patients?
Well, we have Macmillan Support Line, which was set up in 2009. And the first year we had over 250,000 people ringing in to ask for advice and guidance around, it could be around medical question. There's a qualified nurses available who can actually answer that. There's questions around, how am I going to pay bills? What benefits are available out there? And also, what other support I can get. Macmillan has a grant which we can Macmillan can grant. Start again. This is a small amount a grant that can be given to people living with a cancer as long as they don't have a savings over £6,000. If that could be to buy, I don't know, a dryer or more bedding or clothes or something, anything like that that meets the need. Macmillan also funds local organisations to provide service, i.e. Citizen Advice Bureau in Dudley has a contract to support cancer patients to assess what they're entitled to.
Okay. Right. Okay, just bear with me. I think I have a caller on the line. Hello? No, hello? Right, I think the call's been dropped. Okay, not to worry. Okay, sorry. Can continue.
No, that's fine. As I was saying, there's a online forum as well where people can go online and ask questions and help each other.
Yeah.
There's also last year, because of COVID, there was a telephone buddying line set up where you recruit volunteers, train them up, and then match them with personally with a cancer, so they were supported one-to-one.
Yeah.
And over 2,500 people have been supported, and that's just in 1 year. A lot of volunteers come forward and they want to help and support other people who are going through cancer, so the full training is given.
All right, okay. Can you just remind us what the Macmillan helpline number is, please?
Yeah, sure. It's 0808 808 0000, and it's open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Lovely. Okay. Now, there's also telephone buddies as well. Can you tell us a bit more about telephone buddies and how that works?
As I said last year, because of COVID, the volunteers couldn't see the cancer patients face to face. So there was very much how can we still support people who really need that support locally. So the volunteers were trained and the coordinators were put in place so that they support the volunteers, and the cancer patients were matched with the volunteers and they would support them over the phone
Okay.
or even FaceTime. Because sometimes you just need to talk to somebody
Yeah.
other than the family, and they were wonderful.
Right. So if myself or anybody wanted to volunteer, how do we go about it?
If you go onto our Macmillan website, you can register for volunteering. Just search in the little box on the right-hand corner. Want to be a volunteer, register there, and somebody will call or email you back and get the ball rolling. Full training's given, and you're supported throughout whatever volunteering opportunity you wanna take up.
All right. Okay. And also, if we want to be involved in Macmillan, how do we go about being involved or volunteering our services?
It's depending on what kind of passion you have. If you wanted to do fundraising, you can ring up to get fundraising pack. Fundraising, the staff is really quite nice to talk to, and they'll guide you through exactly what needs to be done. Especially with the coffee morning coming up, there'll be packs sent out to people who request it. You can volunteer at for telephone buddying. You can ask to get involved with local cancer support groups, and go and speak there. Go and speak to the people who could really do with speaking to somebody different.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, what other support is locally available in Wolverhampton?
We've got information centre in the hospital. Everybody knows it's the Macmillan Information Centre, and they also have a cancer support directory, which is all the cancer support groups are listed, so people can go to different, like prostate support group, breast cancer support group. They can go to their meetings, and we also have information directory in Wolverhampton, which is called WIN.
Okay.
Information directory, and if you put in cancer in the search, all the cancer services will come up.
Okay. Right.
I would also mention that we have Health Watch in Wolverhampton. So if there's any concerns, do get in touch with them, and obviously let me know if there's anything issues around cancer services or any good or not so good experience. We want to know.
Okay.
Relate Macmillan counselling service has been funded by Macmillan to support the cancer patient and their families for counselling sessions, and all confidential. Nothing gets spoken outside that room.
Okay.
And people are supported. And the benefit advice again. If you ring the helpline, they can sort out your benefit advice, speak to the energy providers, speak to, if you've got issues with a mortgage or anything like that, they don't know what to do, they can advise you how best way forward, really.
Oh, that's really good, sort of a package that's been put together, isn't it, to support the people who are suffering with cancer. Yeah. If anybody wants to contact you for further information, how can they do that?
Yes, they can call me. They can email me. It's easier, really. My email is pmainn@macmillan.org.uk, and the mobile number is 078 341 92217.
Right. Also, obviously, you being the volunteer for Macmillan, with obviously the second wave being hit and stuff, cancer services have been ring-fenced. Has that caused any issues or problems for yourself?
Macmillan has lobbied that in the Parliament to make sure that money is ring-fenced, and obviously when other issues come up, i.e. having a pre-prescription for cancer patient, Macmillan lobby that as well. Year before, there was cancer and travel insurance. There was a report produced by Macmillan, and that was lobbied in the Parliament as well. So any issues come up locally or nationally, Macmillan's on it, really.
Oh, right. Okay. And do you, as a volunteer, actually go out and see patients in the wards and things like that?
I work for Macmillan, so I'm the engagement lead.
Okay.
So I don't volunteer.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry, that's just to clear that up. I do go speak to patients, but normally at in the community level, not at the hospitals. But there are volunteers trained in the Macmillan Centre at the Trust, Wolverhampton Trust, and the volunteers will go and speak to cancer patients, or people can come to the centre and get support.
Okay. Panel, have you got any questions for Pav? No? Right. Okay. Iram, I've got a question for you actually. Your husband is a cancer doctor, isn't he? And how has COVID-19 actually impacted on his work?
So he deals with the cancer patients, but he's not a cancer doctor.
Oh, okay. He deals with the cancer patients.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So obviously when COVID hit, the ITU was overloaded.
Yeah.
Where they had patients of number 14. 14 was the number in New Cross. They were having about 100 plus patients, and then they needed staff and everything to support there. But obviously, at the same time, they were advanced level, stage cancer patients, for whom they may, if you postpone their surgery or if you postpone their treatment, it's about life and death. Would they be actually alive? And so I think one of the biggest challenges that COVID threw on these doctors was they physically and mentally they are in a very difficult job.
Yeah.
I think it was the emotional quotient in this which actually challenged them to a very massive level.
Okay.
And that actually, the three dimensions had a great impact. And that's purely why I think, in the second wave, the doctors were so exhausted and they were literally appealing that, guys, please, because it was to a breaking point. And I think that emotional quotient was quite impactful for them to say, where they have to choose because they don't have a bed available. Because, if they treat them, they need an ITU bed and, it's already overloaded. So it's those things. And obviously that was impacting our family, as well, because I've never seen my husband impact or affected in that manner that he actually came home. I remember the second week of Jan, he came home and he was holding his face in his hands and he was literally broken down and he said it's very difficult. So I think and to be honest, the cancer patients, I it's a commendable thing that they have suffered, but they've silently suffered just so that the rest of the community can get on. And I think Macmillan definitely has played a great role because the support that they needed at that time was coming from your volunteers and from your team, making sure that they were still, held and they were still being looked after.
Yeah.
So I think it's a huge round of applause. We should definitely give them Macmillan, yeah.
There was a time when obviously COVID-19 hit and all the operations have been put on hold. So obviously now he's back at work. There is quite a lot of backlog, I can imagine.
Yes.
So how are they actually catching up, making up?
So for them, COVID, they are working on stretched time, irrespective. It was first COVID. Now they have the backlog to get through. So they are the doctors, the nurses, and the medical staff, and the assistant staff. They're still overloaded with work, and that's the only thing that they can do. So they're working almost like extra time, extra hours. That's how they're trying to cope up.
Right, so working those extra hours and stuff. So he must come home pretty tired, exhausted. And as a good wife, how do you respond? How do you look after him?
Make sure, you just have to keep a smiling face. Make sure you have some time to listen to him. And then, ensure that he is, but the good part is, giving him that comfort zone to come back to, relax, and then be back for work again in the same spirit that he is every day. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think it's worth it. It's just something you get on with because being a doctor's wife, you have to take care of that aspect. Yeah,
so big shout out to Dr. Khan then, hey?
No, I think it's to the whole Wolverhampton
doctors and nurses,
the New Cross Trust. Amazing team, amazing staff, and I think and they continue to be an amazing place to be. work with.
So with him being at work and everything, how do you sort of have family time? Do you get any family time together?
Well, you can't have everything, yeah, but we just enjoy the quality time rather than the quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now we have to look at the bigger picture where everybody or the Wolverhampton team or everybody is an extended family. And that's how we look at it.
And you got 2 children, mashallah. So what about your youngest? I think he's 5 years old, isn't he?
Yes.
So does he ever miss the father figure around?
No, not really, because he knows that his dad is going to the hospital and he's helping out to get the virus away and cleaned up so that, they can enjoy the outdoors sooner. So I think that's what he does miss. I mean, to be honest, he can't go and hug him. For example, when my husband comes home, none of us can hug him. We're very happy to see him back, and he's got all these marked lines and everything. But that's one big change due to COVID. We can't hug him because he has to come in, get changed, take a shower, and everything. So we've had to keep it separate, and it's only then he comes in and then he's part of the family. So yeah.
So let's take it back to last year when COVID-19 actually hit. And what did he actually go through at that time?
Oh, that's...
What did he actually witness and see? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, sure. He's an anesthetic consultant, so he was directly involved with the ITU, with the actual red zone of patients. And incidentally, he is at a very high risk category himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was obviously something we knew, but I think nobody in the department ever knew about it at all, and I'm glad about that. It was a bit of a challenge, we can say, because it was something we'd never experienced, and especially when you see a country like UK where you feel okay, things are not going to get that bad. It was a bit of a challenge, but I think overall the medical staff they've managed, they've put their best foot forward, and I think that's how they're managing. I just think that they need a little bit more appreciation. I mean, we've been clapping, I know we've been appreciating, but I think some of the issues do need consideration, like the pay rises that have been given to the nursing staff.
I know. It started off with 1%, so what did he actually get to then?
I have no clue. Don't know, but yeah, I do agree that those they need to still see the welfare of the staff a bit more, I think. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we've got some good insight there on how a doctor's life is and stuff like that. Also on your part, and obviously your family's from India, isn't it?
Yes.
So what's the situation like in India?
Oh, it's really it's going bad because it's the second wave, and
They've actually been put on the red list now as well, haven't they?
Yes, that's right. I think one of the biggest challenges that was there is the vaccination rollout was not done in the best manner, or I would say, there've been challenges on different front on that end. So it's just bad, and we can hope and pray, and it's challenging because I've still got my parents and everybody there. So but anyway, we just they've got their vaccinations done, so that's one good thing.
That is a good thing. We will be talking about vaccinations as well very shortly. Okay, so obviously with your work colleagues, how's that been?
We've just been working remotely, and we've got now this new term called meeting and teams fatigue. Oh,
right, okay.
So we attend stand-up meetings sitting down on the chair, but it's been an interesting year, because I think initially working from home was a privilege, and people were not very the adaptability of working from home was not as widespread as it is now. I mean, obviously we've been forced to, but I think seeing the fact that people have been more productive being at home, because they could balance a lot of work. The work-life balance gets better. I think that's definitely been a big positive of this COVID, giving people, and especially in IT, you can sit back home and you can do all the work a lot more relaxed. You don't have to worry about commuting all the way to different cities or places. So saves us 2 hours of time, and we could invest that for our learning and training
Definitely.
and loads of certifications and things. So yeah, overall, I think work wise, I think it's been a better it's been a better year than
Lovely. Right. Okay. We're going to go straight into a break, and I will shortly see you on the other side. And coming up, but we will be speaking to Amjad as well, who has experienced a patient with cancer as well. If you want to give us a call, please feel free to do so on 01902 972 150, or drop us a WhatsApp on 07440 420 432. Okay, welcome back. You're tuned into Ramadan Radio Wolves on 87.9 FM. And if you're watching us on Facebook, a big shout out to you as well. You are tuned into Lou's Sisters, which is every Wednesday from 6 p.m. till 7:30 p.m. Right, still, we have got Amjad. We're going to be putting him into the spotlight and talking about his experience with his mom when she was diagnosed with cancer. And then coming up as well, we've got COVID-19 vaccinations, the rollout, and also we've got Sharon, who will be ringing in talking about community champions as well. And then we will go into other news as well. Right, so Amjad, let's kick off with yourself. Now, as I said, your mom was diagnosed with cancer. So can you tell us, how did you and your family first hear the news, and how did you and your family cope and assist and sort of help her through the whole process?
It wasn't the first news that we had. My mom's younger brother, my mom, who passed away of cancer as well at the age of 54. That was a great shock as well at that time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anyone expected it at that time, because no one even knew about it really. But I think it was just all of a sudden that he just started going downhill as well. And my father, I can remember my father leaving, because my father treated him like a younger brother. And I can remember my father leaving for Pakistan. When my father went there and he took him to hospital, that's when one of the senior doctors turned around and said to my father that, it was too late, that he had stage 4 cancer.
Okay.
So that was a great shock as well, because he was one of our best mamus as well. But like they say that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the good ones away soon.
Yeah.
And, that was a big shock as well. But we didn't expect our Amiji to even fall into that kind of category, really. I think if it wasn't for my little sister Fozia, because like Fozia, she's helped my mom quite a lot through her illnesses and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think when she sort of like discovered a lump on the left side, that's when she turned around and said that it needs to be seen to. We were just praying that hope it was nothing sort of like major, but it came to a stage, right, where I think because my sister, the elder one as well, she works in the pharmacy and she used to work at the doctor's surgery as well. So what they did, they sort of like fast tracked everything, and they came back that it was stage 3 breast cancer. To which, to be honest with you, we were sort of like speechless. And when you're going to state of shock and you start crying and stuff like that. And as children, the last thing you want, right, is for something to happen to your mother. And we started crying. And my mom's always been a very, very strong woman. And when I mean by strong, right, she's been a lioness. My mom has. And she turned around and said to us, I can remember these words that she said. She goes, "Jadi raat cover de vich baar te nahi na, right? Whatever my day is in my grave, right? It's not going to be outside. So why are you worrying for?" Right? And
She was a very strong woman, your mom, wasn't she?
yes, mashallah, she always has been from a very young age. I can remember her telling me that my Nana ji, Allah Ta'ala, may bless his soul, right, and grant him the highest ranks in Jannah, yeah, that he used to turn around and say to my mom, because my mom's the eldest out of all the blood siblings, and he used to turn around and say to her, he goes, Yaar, you were born my lion, and you were born as my son, not my daughter. So she's always been very, very strong from day one.
Yeah.
So we calmed down a bit. We thought, okay, mom's sort of like in that kind of phase now, yeah, where she's strong, so we should be strong for her as well at the same time. I think that's the kind of turning point that we had then, because then we thought, if we start crying now and if we start sort of like being sad and all that kind of stuff, right, we are going to sort of like mentally torture her, really. So went to the hospital, and we were just there for her all the time. Me and my little sister. I gotta praise my little sister here now, because she did a lot. She did so much. She did, right. But I was at work. Whatever time I could get, I used to go down and spend with my mom as well. But my little sister, she spent a lot of time, and may God bless her, right, and reward her for what she's done, right. But alhamdulillah, mom went through a lot, and it was painstaking to see her go through that. But it was something that she had to go through. And sometimes, as a son, right, and maybe my other siblings as well, we used to wish that, why can't we have her pain? instead of her going through that pain herself. And but Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala tests people in
Different
in
ways.
different kind of ways, right? And Mum was tested in that kind of way, and it was a very hard time for us to go through for the 3 years that we went through, because it was just touch and go all the time. We didn't know what was happening at most of the times, because she would go for her appointments and then she would come back, and the doctors were sort of like, oh, you got to come back, and then we used to get frustrated to the fact that what are these guys doing? But I think they were doing it for the best of my mom. But Alhamdulillah, she was operated on, and we were very, very supportive. The exercises and all that kind of stuff, and the foods that they recommended for organic stuff. And I can remember my dad, mashallah, Allah Ta'ala bless him, he's never touched a glass in his life, right? But now my dad is in such a state, right, that he can cook.
Wow.
Right, and that's because of my mom. And he'd go to Asda, right, all the time, right, and he'd get all these organic fruits, like, and veggies, like carrots and all that kind of stuff. They recommended a lot of carrot juice, and mom was drinking a lot of carrot juice and all that kind of stuff. And Alhamdulillah, she pulled through, and I think she pulled through because of her all willpower as well, and her iman as well. She pulled through, and I think we were there for her as well. I think if we were in that kind of state, right, where we were miserable all the time, maybe she wouldn't have done. But every time we went to go and see her, we were just laughing and joking, and I think that occupied her mind quite a lot. And then plus as well, on top of that, with the grandchildren, coming and going as well, it sort of like took her mind off a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which Alhamdulillah today, she went through a lot of chemotherapy as well. I mean, like, she had a few sessions. You'd sit there with her for about 7-8 hours, and it was hurtful, but for her, for us to see her go through that pain, because chemotherapy is hard. I mean, I wouldn't even want my worst enemy to go through that kind of stuff. Right? And the after effects mom had, for us to see her go through that, it was painstaking. And then Alhamdulillah, she went through the chemotherapy, and then radiotherapy happened as well. That was slightly okay. Radiotherapy it wasn't too bad. But Alhamdulillah, luckily, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she pulled through, and she's in remission now, mashallah, and the doctors have given her the all clear now. Alhamdulillah. They do sort of like give her a 6-monthly appointments to check up on her because of her age as well now and stuff, right? But mashallah, like I said, she's a strong woman, and she's pulled through really, really well. But it was a painstaking 3.5 year time for us guys. We couldn't do anything, we couldn't go anywhere, and I think it was one of the worst periods of our lives, to be honest, that we had gone through.
The good thing is that you had that family support, you had the family network, and you were there for each other more than what one would want anyway. And I think your mom got that sense of feeling from you guys. So, when you have people who might question you and say, like say, for example, I struggle finding words when I find out that someone is medically got cancer. I struggle finding or knowing what to say to them. Did you find that you were sort of quite understanding towards that person, and how did you sort of tackle the feedback from them and sort of prompt them?
The thing is, sometimes, when you remember that time, right, you do get emotional, and it is like, like I said to you before, right, that it is a test that one human has to go through. It wasn't just my mom, all of humanity goes through a different kind of test of time, right? But sometimes, what it is, it is quite emotional, and you do sort of like, I mean, even as a man, I do break down sometimes when I do think about that period of what my mom went through. And sometimes, like you just said, you can't find the words to explain, and it does become hard.
It does.
And even now, I mean, like, I'm sitting here now explaining what my mom went through, right? I mean, I can feel myself sort of like getting a bit emotional now, but Alhamdulillah, you know what? You try to be strong about it.
It could be the other way around as well. Your mom, although she was going through all that pain and suffering and stuff, but she might not have showed it, but she tried to be strong in your eyes, in your family's eyes, so that you guys don't feel that after effect, or shall I say,
like I said, mum has always been strong. And, you know, every time we turn around and said to mum, look, sit down, take it easy, you know, she'd always find the willpower from somewhere. You know what it is? To be honest with you, I don't know where she found that willpower from. And like I said to you before, right, she's always been a lioness all the way through. And even with her, what she had, she'd always get up, go into the kitchen and do what we need to do. And all of a sudden, right, we'd have to make her sit down again. But because she was so into her ways, right, she wouldn't sit down.
She's quite active, isn't she?
She's been very, very active. And like, you know, I've had to go across the road, you know, after finishing work, and I'd catch her there ironing the clothes, and I'd say, "What are you doing?
What you're doing, that's right, yeah.
Are you seriously having a laugh?" And then she'd say, "Yaar, I want to stay active."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, you stay active, but go for a walk around the block or something like
Yeah.
that. Stay active that way. I'll do the ironing." So I used to do it. You know, washing up. You see, washing up the pitile and stuff. You know, the big pans.
Yes.
And I used to get frustrated. I used to think, "Come on, mom. You know, you've just been through so much. Nay, yaar, I need to stay active."
But you know what it is? Your mom being active, it reminds me a lot of my mom as well, and my sister who had cancer as well. She was quite active. It's hard for an active person to stay put in one place and not move. I know they've got the illness and stuff like that, but they always find that urge where they have to get up and they have to get involved in the house chores and things like that. So we had to move my sister to my mom's house.
Yeah.
You know, to stop her doing that. So sometimes you have to take drastic actions to make that person realise that they can't do that. But I don't think they understand the logic or the...
I think what happens is that's probably a reactive impulse. Probably, you know, when a strong person gets hurt, the first thing they want to do is they don't want to cry. You know,
Yeah.
because they want to stay strong, and that's just just a way of suggesting and telling themselves, or repetitively trying to tell them, you know, it's fine. You know, we're fine. Whereas, and that's why I think there's a bit of a difference where we have to ensure we're not sympathizing, but we are empathizing with the person. And I think that's where you actually start learn. And this is where I learned the actual meaning of these two words. How drastically, when you have sympathy for somebody and it doesn't work, it's not the right thing. You have to have the empathy.
Because our mothers, right, have come from back home.
Yeah.
And because they worked from a very young age, and they've done such hard work, right, that we wouldn't even imagine of doing.
Yeah, like they've had Majdar milk, and they've had
know,
desi ghee and stuff like that.
To be honest with you, they are so strong.
Yeah.
That, you know, even my mom always says to me, she goes, because my mom, she's type 1 diabetic, she's on insulin, and she's got osteoarthritis as well and stuff like that, right? So every time we used to say to her, like, "Come on, mom, sit down, take a chill pill," right? But she'd turn around and say, "Well, I got my bagging. If I sat down, I'll seize up," which is justifiable. Then you can't argue with the easy. Then you think to yourself, "Okay, mom, do something, but do very light stuff." And now I think she's been hit hard now because she had an appointment last week, and the doctor really told her off because she was picking up some stuff.
Oh, gosh.
And she's like hair to left side, and now as a son and you know my siblings, right, we have come down a bit hard on mom now. We have turned around and said to her, say, "That's it. Nothing, you know, nothing heavy, nothing at all. If you need anything doing, you ring us, or when we come here, we'll do everything that needs to be done." That's it, end of story.
So is it something in situations like this? How does you know, when Macmillan is supporting somebody, how do they take? You know, what's their take on these sort of things? That would be an
I
interesting.
think it's best to speak to your breast cancer nurse. They would actually tell you exactly what she shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And there's some set of exercises which they give you as well. And did your mum ever go for counselling or anything like that?
So the thing is, because my sister, right, the one younger than me, right, she works at the pharmacy as well, you see, and she's quite clicked on with a lot of people. So what we were doing, right, because I don't think mom needed counselling because, like I said to you, she was very sort of like tough-minded, a woman, right, and because of the family coming and going all the time as well, there was a lot of rola shola and a lot of noise in the house and stuff. So I mean, she was mostly sort of like distracted from that kind of thing. So I think the only time you need counselling, right, is if you're sitting in the house all alone and there's no one to talk to.
I would disagree with that.
Well,
yeah.
that's just my point of view. I mean, like majority of the time, right?
I
If
think
you're
that's
alone,
where the downfall
Right.
happens, because
Yeah.
what happens is
Yeah.
we are not aware how people, how,
That's it.
and we are assuming, and obviously being so close to them,
Hmm.
we are on a soft spot as well. I think we
Yeah.
need counseling along with,
Yeah.
and this is where I think we should encourage our community
Mm-hmm.
to step up.
Yeah.
To step up and accept, actually, you know what, I can't deal with this.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about the operation she had. It's about the personal stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean, there is counselling available free of charge for the whole family if you needed it. You can ring the number. Shall I?
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's,
Yeah.
Macmillan Counselling Service Barrel 8. It's 0121 643 1638. I'll give you that later on
yeah,
as
that's no
well.
problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because your mum might want to speak about how she's feeling, about her appearance,
Yeah.
about maybe having different clothes, or, having bra fitting,
Mm.
things like that. She might not want to talk to family about it.
Yeah.
True.
So,
to be honest, that's one of the challenges I faced, because when COVID was happening, and my husband, he was going every day, it was like I was emotionally struggling, because it was like he was going in the war zone. It was like
Yeah.
any soldier, you can say. And he, every day that he was coming back, I was like sighing a relief. So it took me a while, but then I mean, through our employee, we have this employee assistance services, and I called up the helpline, and I said to them, I'm struggling. I'm just, and I have to be strong for my husband and for my family
Yeah.
and for my kids. But it did take me 6 months to realize that. And it does make a difference just to talk to somebody completely neutral. Yeah.
it's just having a couple of sessions with the counsellor. It actually put things in perspective,
Mm.
and you can move on. You can get on with life. Then sometimes when you have a major surgery, you get stuck in that that time zone and not move on. So having counselling.
Yeah,
really
I think
does
she
help.
did struggle a bit because, like, I mean, like when you've got all your body parts and then all of a sudden you lose one part of it, right? She did struggle at that kind of time. But like I said, with my little sister, she's like always around her and talking to her and keeping her occupied and all that kind of stuff, and reassuring her that this is part of life, that these things happen in life. There's other people out there who are worse than us as well, who have lost limbs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like today, I picked up a sister. She was from Egypt. And alhamdulillah, I didn't even realize that she was sitting in a wheelchair. And all of a sudden, I went to go and open the door because wanted to help her. And I looked at her, and she didn't have no legs.
Oh gosh. Okay. So
And
she was in a wheelchair. Did you
she
say?
was in a wheelchair, and I didn't see her sitting outside in a wheelchair. I thought she was sitting on a chair. And as soon as I pulled up outside the house, and Allahu Akbar, you got to say, man, that some of the willpower some of these people have, right? It's unbelievable, mashallah, right? And she came down a path right herself, and she came to the car. She goes, "Oh no, don't worry, I can do it myself." I says, "No, I'll help you." And then I opened the door for her, and she got into the car herself, and she had no legs. It's
Miracles of
it makes you think,
Adjustment,
you know.
isn't it?
Let's go back to your sister Fawzia. Obviously, she was accompanying your mom. She was going with your mom to all these treatments, all these consultations with the doctors and stuff like that. Obviously, again, Fawzia was there. She did have you guys as the family supporting her and stuff. But did you ever find that sometimes it was just too much for her?
Yeah, sometimes it was because she's got 2 kids of her own as well. Like I said, she's got a husband to look after as well, and then the routines of life as well. With the house look after as well. But like I said, Fawzia, right? She's a strong woman. She is as well. She's like my mom. She's a very tough cookie. She is, and for for someone to break her, it takes a miracle to break her. But alhamdulillah, she's been very, very strong. She's been very, very supportive, towards my mom and stuff like that. And I've got to give her praise. And I always say that Allah Ta'ala, bless her and reward her for what she's done, man, and stuff. And, she's been a rock, to be honest, with my mom. And, I've got to give her a shout out.
Yeah, we already have, I think, so many times. So, because your sister was going with your mom, Did you find that she was making majority of the decisions on behalf of your mom, or would she come back and would she consult with all your family as well?
See, because me being the eldest sibling, she would always come back and always tell me about what was happening and what was happening. And yeah, we would sit down and we would sort of like discuss what the best options were for our mom
Yeah.
at that time. And Alhamdulillah, the doctors, like Sister Adam said, right, at New Cross, even at the Deansley Centre, the doctors were, phenomenal. They were excellent. The nurses were great. Every time my mom went there, they'd treat my mom like a mother, and like, give her the best treatment, man. And like, they'd be so sort of like, empathetic and all that kind of stuff, and very, very careful with where they stuck the needle and all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't hurt my mom. And I gotta be grateful to them guys as well at the same time. But like I said, I mean, it was sort of like a family decision all the time. She did come back. She didn't make all the decisions herself. Sometimes, yeah, there were drastic decisions that needed to be made on the spot, and she would ring me and she'd say, look, this is what's happening, and I'd say, well, Fozia, you're there. Whatever you think's best, you just go for it.
Yeah. The other thing that we haven't touched up on is your dad. How did he, obviously, when he first found out the news that his wife has got breast cancer, how did he take it?
Dad was an emotional wreck. Because don't forget, they've been together for such a long time.
They're each other's lifeline, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And he was an emotional wreck, he was. And we had to sort of like really calm him down and get him back onto his feet. But Alhamdulillah, like I said, we're a close-knit family, and my cousins as well, and that reassurance that everyone was there for him. But like I said, he got back on his feet, and my mom's looked after him and mollycoddled him in such a way, right, that he's never lifted a cup up. But since mom was diagnosed with cancer, I think he stepped up a bit, and I think today he can make a handi.
Wow.
That's
And
huge.
there's a drastic change, because when you go to mom and dad's house now, he's washing up, and you think,
Oh, bless him.
is this the same person that never used to lift a cup up, right? And then all of a sudden, like, he's washing up, and then you have to push him out the way and say, Dad, come on, calm down, I will do it. And then you'll go there, right, and you'll say, Dad, come on, man, let's sit down. And because I'm there all the time now. I mean, I'm living with my parents, and and I'm at work in the morning from 5 o'clock. So by the time I get back home, he's probably done everything anyway. By the time I get back home, but when I do get back home, it's like, can you please move on the side now and let me do everything? And he'll turn around and say, yeah, look, you've just come back from work, hard day's graft, I'll do it, man, I'm okay. And then he'll be staring there and thinking, have you seriously made that, Dad? And he'll say, nay, yaar, a little bit of your mom's help here, but I've done it.
Oh, bless him.
And he'll hoover up as well. He's never done any hoovering in his life, and he'll hoover up as well. And mashallah, you know what? There's been a drastic change in my father as well, and Allah bless him. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him a long life as well. He's been very, very supportive to my mom as well.
I think you're blessed to have her, because one of the other challenges that I've, obviously I've already listed quite a few, but Dr. Khan's sister got diagnosed with liver cancer.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And incidentally, by the time she got diagnosed, it was already in the 4th stage, and he lost her within a week's time.
And that was quite recent, wasn't it?
It was just 3 weeks back, and she was his younger sister, like 1 year younger to him. So,
It's sad. I think cancer is more like the flu now. It's quite
Yes.
common and it's well known, isn't it now?
It was the same with my Mamu, like I explained before.
Yeah.
His was very, very sudden.
Yeah.
He went to Dubai because someone called him over to Dubai, and all of a sudden he went to Pakistan, and his health just started deteriorating.
Yeah.
And within 6 months he was gone.
Okay, we're going to go straight into a break now, and we will be back talking about the COVID-19 vaccination and also about community champions.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, I know. I don't know whether it's this phone and I didn't have the volume up or something. Yeah, yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, welcome back. You are tuned into Ramadan Radio Wolves. Now, coming up very shortly, I have got Sharon, who will be talking about community champions, but COVID-19 and the steps that have been taken to manage the virus and protect us continue to impact everyone in Wolverhampton. Now, as new advice and guidance is released, it's now more important than ever that people in Wolverhampton stay up to date and know how to protect themselves and others. So joining me over the phone is Sharon Nanan-Sen, where she will be telling me why they are looking for COVID-19 community champions. Sharon, hello.
Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for joining us today. So can you tell us a bit about yourself and your role, first of all, to start with?
Okay. Yeah, so I work at Wolverhampton Voluntary Sector Council.
Mm-hmm.
My usual day-to-day job is supporting groups and organisations who may want to apply for funding to do projects, or they may want to set up a charity or a social enterprise, or they may need policy development support. That's what I usually do, and part of that now recently is becoming involved in the COVID Community Champions project. And yes, I'm looking for champions.
So who can become a COVID-19 community champion then?
Okay, so it needs to really be someone who, really believes in the vaccine, and making sure that people get the right information in all of our communities about the vaccine, because one of the things about COVID-19 is that it has really adversely affected certain communities across Britain. And this project, which is NHS and government-backed, is about making sure that there's equity across the country and across the city of Wolverhampton to ensure that we have an equal offer in terms of the vaccine. So ethnic minority groups have been particularly impacted by COVID-19. So that's one of the groups that we're looking at in Wolverhampton to make sure that all ethnic minority groups in Wolverhampton have the opportunity to take up the vaccine, and importantly that they have the right information about the vaccine, because we feel that there may be people who have the wrong information about the vaccine and are worried about it. So the champion, the community champion, the kind of people that we're looking for are people who have a reach into certain communities, you know, in streets where people live, you know, who know people. I mean, it could be through religious groups, it could be through community, but it's about being positive about messages around the vaccine and making sure that people have the correct information about it. So those are the kind of people that we're looking at to be champions.
Okay, so what will these community champions be doing then?
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of support, first of all, for the community champions. There are regular kind of training sessions. The champions who work with me will be fully supported by me at all times. There are so I'm an ambassador for the project. There are other ambassadors in the city. You know, there are 12 other ambassadors, and champions can also work with them. So they get full support to make sure that they have the latest information on the COVID-19 vaccine. We work very closely with the City Council and with Public Health, and we have regular updates from them. We have some information on certain parts of Wolverhampton where there has been a particularly low uptake, for example, Graiseley and St Peter's and Heath Town.
Oh, right,
and those
okay.
three particular areas we really want to target. So we're also doing some pop-up vaccine, pop-up shop type vaccines in different community venues. So we're trying to take the vaccine or the opportunity to have the vaccine out into communities. But the main thing is really giving people the opportunity to ask questions about the vaccine. So if they're worried about it, ask questions about it, you know, get the right information. Some people as well may have missed their appointment. You know, they may have had an appointment come through and they haven't taken it up. But it doesn't mean that you've missed it. You've just missed that one, but you can still get the vaccine. All you've got to do is ring up, either ring 111 or your GP, tell them you've missed your appointment, and they'll get you another one. So it's particularly important for people who are older, you know, in their 80s and above, 70s. Obviously, it goes down in age in terms of priority for the vaccine. But there are also a high number of ethnic minority groups who are clinically vulnerable. So they have, for example, high blood pressure or high cholesterol, diabetes, and that makes people what's termed clinically extremely vulnerable to COVID-19. So it's just really about, getting the right information. You know, no one's forcing anyone to have the vaccine. You know, it's about get the right information and make your decision.
Right, okay. So a very valid points there about community champions and what they can do within the community and how they can support the BAME community as well. It's quite a unique project. So if anybody wants to become a community champion, how do they go about applying for it?
Okay. Well, you know, they can contact me directly. I'm not sure. I mean, I can give you my phone number for Wolverhampton Voluntary Sector Council. Yeah. And so that is 01902, and it's 773 761. Okay. And if they ring Wolverhampton Voluntary Sector Council and ask for Sharon,
Yeah.
and that they're interested in the COVID Community Champions project, you will get put through to me.
Okay.
If you go on to WVSE's website as well, my email address is there.
Mm-hmm.
So if people would prefer to email me, that would be good too.
Okay.
So we're looking to recruit a lot of champions. Each ambassador is looking to recruit at least 5,
Mm-hmm.
and there are 12, 13 ambassadors. So it's over 60 odd people that we're looking to recruit. But we can't really get enough, because we really do want to make sure people get the right information and make their decision about the vaccine.
Right. Just repeat the number for us, please, so that everybody's got it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Wolverhampton 01902
Yep.
773761.
Okay, so for anyone that's listening, if you want to contact Sharon and you want to become a community champion, the number to call her on is 01902 773 761. Okay, Sharon, also, as we said, Wolverhampton community is very diverse. So will the information be available in different languages?
Yeah, the information is already available in different languages. The City Council has got leaflets translated into different languages. On the City Council website as well, you can actually click on all of the different languages. So yes, I mean that's widely available. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Panel, have you got any questions for Sharon? Pav?
Sharon, there's also videos on the City Council website, aren't they, in different languages?
Yeah, there's lots of information.
That's useful to know.
All of the Asian languages, but I mean there's lots of other languages too. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Sharon, for your time. Is there anything else that you'd like to mention about the community champions?
Well, just finally, I just hope that people will just find out a bit more about the vaccine, because, as I said, there are a lot of myths out there about the vaccine. It can do this, it can do that, it can change my DNA, it can affect my fertility, and these are all.
It's all these conspiracies that are going around, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and really, it's just think about your overall health, your family, your own health, the health of your family and your community. We all live so closely together now.
Yeah.
And, and also, keep wearing your mask, keep washing your hands, keep a safe distance. All of those things are important, because if we don't kind of have the vaccine, then that you've heard already that there are a lot of variants. There's not just 2 or 3 now. There are so many variants. This virus is rampant. It's mutating. So it's just about really get informed, and make the right decision, a conscious decision, an informed decision about the vaccine. So that's it really, Alvina.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us on Loose Sisters on Ramadan Radio Wolves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alvina. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Right. Okay, there you go. That was Sharon there talking about community champions. If you do want to get involved, you can give it a call on 01902 773 761. So please do get involved. Together, we can make sure that everyone in Wolverhampton has the information they need to stay safe, to help reduce the spread of COVID-19 and ultimately save lives. Panel, have you got anything to say with regards to what Sharon's just shared with us?
Well, yeah, because there is a lot of myths out there and a lot of misconceptions on the fact that, the vaccine is here to dominate us or to, do certain things like Sharon just mentioned about fertility and all that kind of stuff. But no, not really. I think it's just to protect us from this virus. I mean, as being a driver, I pick up customers every single day, and every single customer has a different story to tell.
I mean, okay, you're saying that you picked up customers and stuff. Panel, this goes out to Pavaniram as well, and Amjad, of course. I take it you've all had your vaccinations.
I've had my
Yes.
first one, yeah.
You've had your first one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We've all had our first vaccination. Again, we touched upon conspiracy theories. So how would you sort of encourage our listeners who are listening in now to have their vaccination? Those who have said, no, we're not having it. The government's keeping tabs on us. You know, you hear all these stories. So what would you do? How would you convince someone to take the vaccination?
One thing I've heard from a lot of people, it has a lot of side effects. And this is something I've constantly because this is one of the challenges people in India are facing, where you have loads of weird stories that still send you dumbstruck. That okay, but yeah, if that's happening here as well, it's definitely something we should tackle and address it and get it.
But you can have side effects from an aspirin.
Yes, that's true. Yes. I mean, all medicines have side effects, really, don't they?
So the simplest example is you get your child vaccinated knowing very well that they will have very high fever.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what a vaccine does. It protects you. It tries, and you will have some side effects, but those side effects are worth bearing up than the actual effect of that virus. So
Can you tell that's a doctor's wife talking?
Well, when I had my first vaccine, I had a little bit of a temperature for about 1 or 2 days. And that was a side effect that most people had. My parents, they had theirs first one, and there was nothing wrong with them. They got their second one a couple of days.
Everyone is different, though, isn't it? Everyone takes
to
it.
be honest, one of my friends, my colleagues, she did have, and she's quite a young girl, she did have quite a major side effect. But to be honest, NHS is doing a great job. They have got helpline, they've got people, especially, teams allocated to look after that and to grab information, and then they support you, in that case, straight away, and they are supporting her, making sure she's well till she had her second, and then, things like that.
I think the main concern that mine was, right, every time I picked up a customer, I'd ask him, say, oh, have you had your vaccination? Oh, nah, you get blood clots and this and this. I said, well, look at it this way, right? I go, if 2 people out of 100 have had blood clots, right? I go, that's just a minute. I mean, you can get anything with anything, really, now.
Yeah.
You can get blood clot by just traveling by air.
On a plane, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
people
mean,
don't
if
stop.
2 people have had it out of 100, that's nothing, really.
No.
It's nothing to worry about.
I think when you talk about the blood clot, it's to do with the AstraZeneca vaccine, isn't it? Well, I mean, obviously, MHRI have definitely confirmed that it is safe. And obviously, some of the benefits, like we said, they do outweigh the risks as well. So the advice, like you says, is on the leaflet about the vaccinations. We sort of, like you touched on paracetamol as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, every sort of medicine has side effects, and they've all got leaflets in them. So how many of us actually take the time to read the leaflets? We don't, do we?
No.
We just
I've had the AstraZeneca
AstraZeneca.
one myself.
And I must commend the Muslim board, the UK Muslim board actually released, and they've released a very good set of questionnaires so that the community is well aware of all these myths not coming into play.
Yeah.
And I really, this was very eye-opening for me that work was done just before the rollout, so that, people were well aware that, everything has been taken into consideration.
That's
My
right.
customers ask me, they go, oh, how come you've had it? I says, well, the first thing I want to do, mate, is I want to fly out of here. And the only way I'm going to fly out of here is when I've had my 2 vaccinations.
That's true.
Right.
Right. So as many of you know, COVID is in retreat as cases continue to fall, vaccinations rise, and also lockdown is easing for most of us as well. But in its wake, the deadly pandemic leaves behind a painful legacy. While many have been lucky enough to escape the virus itself, for millions, lockdown has taken its toll mentally, physically and emotionally. Now, at the moment, everyone who is aged 45 or over in Wolverhampton is now eligible to get their life-saving COVID-19 vaccination. And again, appointments can be booked at the NHS as the vaccination programme enters the next phase. So, as well as the over 45s, the vaccine is currently available to anyone who is clinically extremely vulnerable. So that's frontline health and social care workers and people who are in receipt of carer's allowance or are the main carer of an elderly or disabled person whose welfare may be at risk if their carer falls ill. Now, people who are eligible for but have not yet had their first jab are asked to get it as a matter of urgency. Meanwhile, an increasing number of people are now going back for their second dose as well. So giving them greater protection against the deadly virus. Now, the latest figures show that a total of 138,423 vaccinations have been delivered in the city of Wolverhampton over the last week, with 117,044 people having received the first of their second doses and 21,379 patients having had both. Now, the vaccine, like Sharon says, is the best protection that we have against COVID-19. It's likely that the easing of restrictions as we leave lockdown will lead to an increase in infection rates. So now, more than ever, it is time to get your jab if you are eligible and haven't had it yet. So please remember that even once you have both doses of the vaccine, you must still continue to adhere to the measures that the government has put in place to stop the spread of COVID-19 and follow the hands, face, space and fresh air guidance as well. And please also consider regular COVID-19 rapid testings as well. Now, Pav, Iram and Amjad, have you actually gone and had your COVID-19 rapid tests at all?
I have, yeah. I usually have one every 3 or 4 weeks because of being, my profession in the front line and, driving. I usually get one about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
Right, just to let the listeners up, Pav, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say I haven't had one yet, but we're going to order some tests.
Oh, right. Okay, brilliant.
I've not had one.
Iram's nodding her head as
Yeah,
well.
because we just self-isolating.
You're just at home working.
Yes, stuck in the house.
Right. Well, twice weekly testing is available for all those who are in Wolverhampton. Now, people living or working in Wolverhampton are encouraged to take twice weekly coronavirus tests to help reduce the spread of infection. Now, 1 in 3 people with COVID-19 do not have any symptoms, but they could spread the virus to the family, friends or colleagues without knowing they have it. So rapid testing quickly identifies any infections and helps to prevent further spread by breaking the chain of transmission. So please make sure you do go. I mean, these tests are accessible from the Civic Centre at St. Peter's Square from Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. You got them available at the Jamia Masjid Bilal, which is on New Hampton Road West, available from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily, and also Pentiford Library from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. And Saturday and Sunday, it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. as well. And they're also available at the Hub at Ashmore Park Library. And that's Monday, Thursday and Friday, and Saturday as well from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And also at St. Joseph's Court down Willenhall Road. That's Monday to Friday from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. as well. People can collect up to 2 boxes, which contains about 14 kits at a time. The kits contain step-by-step instructions enabling people to complete their test and report their results from the comfort of their own home. So people who cannot access the free rapid testing, there are other routes available. So if you go on to gov.uk, or you can ring up NHS on 119 and they will get those delivered to your home. Right, in other news, just to let you know that the libraries are reopening. Yay! So, panel, what are your childhood memories of libraries?
Oh, getting lots and lots of books and CDs.
Right.
It's
Go
a
on,
place of bliss. Yes, silence and loads and loads of books. Yes,
Loads and loads of books. I bet you never went to the library, did you?
Well, actually, I did, man. But I think the only reason I used to go there I could remember. I don't know if you remember. You know the Commodore 64, the first computer that ever came
Oh
out.
gosh, yes, and the Amstrad.
Yeah, I used to run there for that.
Yeah. Well, just to let people know that Central Library has opened for controlled browsing and computer use this week as of Monday, the 19th of April. The capacity will be limited to enable social distancing and ensure the safety of staff and customers. Now, this is in addition to the click and collect service. Now, many of you know that the libraries have been doing this while the pandemic's been going on, and it's been quite successful. But I think the staff are missing the customer face-to-face contact as well. Now, library users must be members of the library if you want to start using libraries, and book a 30-minute session in advance by calling 01902 552025. That's for the computers. So if you want to get in touch, you can ring on 01902 552025 and book your 30-minute slot as well. Now, at Central Library, customers will have access also to the ground floor, the adult lending library only, which has been remodelled to include a selection of both adult and children's stock and 4 PCs, hence the booking. So as from Monday the 26th of April, next week, Bilston, Warstones and Wensfield libraries, they will reopen for controlled browsing and computer use as well, with Finchfield and Tettenhall reopening the following week. So in addition, from Tuesday the 4th of May, Select and Collect will be extended to East Park, Whitmore Reens, Low Hill and Springvale libraries. So it's good to see that the libraries are actually opening now as well. So panel, go on, tell me about your favourite read then.
You got me.
That's an odd question, that is.
Is it? You've forgotten your childhood days, haven't you, Amjad?
Wow, to be honest with you, that was such a long time ago. Yeah, it's just like, memories gone into thin air, I think.
Okay. I think for me, when I was growing up, cooking books were more my thing.
Well,
Gardening.
I used to enjoy comic books, but give me a Pride and Prejudice, or the old classics.
Yes.
Oliver Twist, Jane Eyre, and I think I've read them in and out, seen them, but I can still sit and read them.
I think
Tale of Two Cities.
I think the only thing I can remember is Charles Dickens or something like that.
Do you? From school?
From school
I
days.
told you.
And then with that as well, right? I used to be such a fan of aircrafts. I used to love aircraft books.
I think the present generation, and I really feel for them. The feel of a book in your hand. It was just something different, isn't it?
And now you got all these Kindles now, haven't you?
I know. I've got one, and I read. I mean, because you have access to so many books in one place. But the satisfaction you have when you open, because I've got my own library, and this is one thing I travel with. Whenever when I moved from India, I had to pay loads because it was a big trunk. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, we're coming to the end of our program, Loose Sisters. So I shall see you same time, same place next week with a few more members on the panel. But remember, folks, wash hands, cover face, make space, and get a test. And remember the fresh air guidance. Stay blessed. Thank you.